The final subject we're going to talk about today is the absolute value. You should recall we would write absolute value of x to mean the following. If x is greater than or equal to 0, then the absolute value of x is equal to x. If x is less than 0, then the absolute value of x is equal to minus x. Okay, let's just look at some pretty obvious properties of the absolute value. The absolute value of x is always going to be greater than or equal to 0. The absolute value of x is equal to the absolute value of minus x. See how that works? If x is positive, then minus x becomes positive. If x is negative, negative x becomes positive, and negative x is positive. The next property that we're going to look at very quickly is that the absolute value of x minus y is equal to the absolute value of y minus x. If that's not obvious at first, consider this. X minus y is equal to minus y minus x. So just using the first property, we can show that. Finally, let's look at multiplication and division. The absolute value of x times y is just the absolute value of x times the absolute value of y. Absolute value is just getting rid of our minus signs here. Similarly, the absolute value of x divided by the absolute value of y is just the absolute value of x divided by y. Finally, we have a non-trivial property of the absolute value, known as the triangle inequality. It says that if you add two numbers and you take their absolute value, that's going to be less than or equal to what you get if you first take the absolute value and then add them. Now, this may not be obvious, but if you try some values, you'll see that it really has to be the case. If both of these are positive, if x and y are positive, then you're just going to get equality. Similarly, if they're both negative, you're also going to get equality. If you're lucky enough and one of them happens to be 0, then it's really obvious. Say if y is 0, this just is the absolute value of x. The absolute value of 0 is 0, so they're going to be equal. So the only case that really has any interest is when one of these is positive and one of them is negative. Well, when one of these is positive and one of them is negative, when you add them together, you're going to get a smaller value than if you add the positive values of each. Finally, I want to talk about what we're going to call a function. We're going to call the distance function that we're going to write as d of 2 points. In this case, let's look at this example. We're going to look at what d of 2, 5 is. D being the distance between 2 and 5 on the line. Now we can see very quickly that's going to be 1, 2, 3. But if you notice, it's also the absolute value of 2 minus 5, or the absolute value of 5 minus 2, which is going to be 3. The point of all this is we can define the distance between x and y on a line as the absolute value of x minus y. A few concluding remarks. There's going to be a homework assignment you could start on if you wish. It will not be due till Monday. You can find it either in the email I'm going to send with this video announcement, or you can find it at the website under the assignments. This is quite new to me. I've never created a video like this before. My sense is this is the driest, most boring lecture I've ever given. My apologies in the future when I become a movie star, I'll learn how to do this better. A few general comments. This is kind of an abstract subject, but it should be fairly simple. I hope it's review for most of you. In particular, if you want to take a look at the first section of the book, section 1, you should find most of it review. That which you don't find review, you should find fairly easy. I'm hoping you will actually take a little time and check this out. The reason is, if you do not find this fairly straightforward review easy, this class is going to be very hard for you. You may not be prepared for it. You should feel free to come talk with me. I'll be, on Friday, I'll be in my office hours, either in my office over Harney 119B, or if I can get room next door here where the office hours are going to usually be being taken place, I will try and do that too. I would be glad to talk to you about it and advise you. I've been told by another professor that if you're not prepared for this class, there are alternatives such as Math 104, which is starting at a slightly lower level. I hope to see you all in class on Friday. Again, if you want to start on the homework, you don't need to pass it in on Friday. You can bring in questions, and we'll be glad to see you all when you get here. All right.